Hello, welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Hangout. I am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the Flippic Cover himself, Zealeus.
Sup? What's going on, yo?
Not much, just, another Thursday has come and it's time for some Google hanging out. Yeah.
It is Thursday, isn't it? It's easy to keep track in the education world when you don't have students. Because normally it's like, oh, hey, we have students, so it's a Monday. And then, oh, hey, we don't have students anymore, so it's Saturday. What do you know? And that's like how you designate like what day of the week it is. But without the students, it just kind of throws off the entire like keeping in line and trying to figure out what's going on in the world.
I'm sorry to hear that, Zealeus.
Somehow I move on with my life, though. I know it's tough to do, but for the sake of all of us, I make it happen.
Well, there you go. So, unfortunately, we do not have a set topic this evening like we did last week. So we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants, which is very unfamiliar territory for myself and Zealeus. If you've listened,
how exactly does one fly by the seat of their pants?
I have no idea.
Like, I just kind of hit me. Like, I don't get it. Like, that phrase really makes no sense.
Dude, you're I don't know. I just use the phrases, man. I don't try to justify why we're using them.
Fair enough, yo.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize that I'm going to keep looking to my left. It's the NBA draft that's on right now. And
who is Anthony Bennett?
I have no fucking clue.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Nobody knows. But apparently, Cavaliers wanted him. So, anyways, okay. Video games. All right.
So I hear that you played a pretty spectacular game. From everything I read about it, was like, dude, awesome.
What game?
Last of Us.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Last of Us,
Yeah.
the zombie game. But that's not a zombie game, but it is a zombie game, but it's not.
But apparently you were also impressed with the game. It's more interesting to me because sometimes these games, they have such incredible hype when they come out.
Yep.
And it's all sometimes like those expectations. Do they almost in a way like hurt a person's experience of playing that game? Because it's like you're so up here. It's like it has to be almost like I almost take Mass Effect 3 for instance, the ending. Expectations, this epic, masterful conclusion, and didn't quite live up to expectations. Everybody's like, boo! I was kind of wondering, like, the same thing, like The Last of Us. We had such these lofty expectations, everybody being like, it's awesome. If it almost, like, makes it, like,
Well, to be honest with you, I really didn't know very much about Last of Us. Simply that it was a highly anticipated game for the PlayStation 3, and that it was being created by Naughty Dog. I don't know if I did it on purpose or not, but I think it was a great advantage for me personally not to basically be wrapped up in the hype, because I figured it was a post-apocalyptic game of some sort. But other than that, I really didn't know any additional information about the game. And to be honest with you, the couple of first of all, I don't read other reviewers' reviews of games that I'm about to play because I don't want to alter my brain going into a game. But from what I've heard from a bunch of the big name reviewers is that they were trying so freaking hard to create reviews that had no spoiler information, because every single little intricate piece of this game could be huge.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically, all I've basically been saying is it's a zombie game, but it's not a zombie game, but it is.
Now it's a PS3 only title, right?
Yes, it is. It is only a PS. It's PS3 only. I think Naughty Dog and Sony have an exclusive deal. Naughty Dog is the team behind all the Uncharted games.
I know, it's very disappointing. It's almost a reason to go with the PS4 over the Xbox One. Because you have to envision that other such spectacular titles will be coming out, for the PS4 exclusively.
And then you've got the complete opposite.
Yeah, but like the games that, like the Gears of War and the Halos, like I don't really care about FPS games for my console.
All right, well, Gears of War is basically over. Halo, because it's changed hands now, will go on forever.
And
Um,
I don't care about Halo. Like,
the
and I mean, I played the Gears of War trilogy, and like, I liked it, but I mean, it's a good game, but it's by no means going to be like, oh, I'm getting an Xbox because of a PS now because of this franchise. Well, for
well,
everything I've heard about, like Uncharted and The Last of Us and the Heavy Rains, to me, like those titles for the PlayStation seem a little bit better than the Xboxes,
right. I mean,
especially if I don't care about first-person shooters.
well, first of all, Gears of War is not a first-person shooter; it's a third-person shooter. Take the
Okay, a shooter game.
Well,
Jackass.
technically, Last of Us and Uncharted is a shooting game. It's a third-person shooter, but it has a lot more emphasis. So is Tomb Raider, but it has a lot more emphasis on the adventure and survival aspects. As where Gears of War, you're trying to survive, but you're trying to survive like a shitstorm of bullets constantly whizzing past your head instead of just falling off a cliff.
True.
And that's really, it's really what it boils down to. But anyway,
Yeah.
phenomenal game. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. If you got a PlayStation 3, anybody out there in the audience, Zealeus does
Go get
not,
it.
you need to get it. If you don't have it, go get it. If you don't have the Tomb Raider game that came out for the PlayStation 3, you're going to need to get it. If you don't have any of the Uncharted, I never played number one, but I can promise you 2 and 3 are well worth the purchase. So, yeah. Oh, and of
Rock
course,
up.
Heavy Rain, but that's on a whole different level.
I'm still waiting for Heavy Rain 2.
They're not going to make a Heavy Rain 2, but they are making a new game. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
I
It'll be
think
hard to
I
make a Heavy
pre-ordered
Rain.
it.
Shocking.
I know. I don't think I've actually pre-ordered it. I've stopped pre-ordering things because I kind of want to know if I'm going to have the an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4 because
It's a good point.
most of these titles are going to be coming out from they're going to do like basically either 2 to 4 releases,
Mm-hmm.
and I want the version that's going to be the best, and the best is going to be on the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. It's not going
Oh,
to be on
absolutely.
the 360 or the PlayStation 3. Let's just be
I
honest.
agree.
There's going to be a lot more functionality, and probably the graphics are going to be so much more purdy that it's going to be worth.
Yeah, I mean, why would you wait? You know, if you're getting a new game next year, why get it for the old console if you can get it for a
Right.
new one?
Well, I mean, the other thing is the price tag apparently is not going to change like at all. So, you know,
Well, yeah, I'm still not decided myself. I got a few months. We all have a few months to decide, ultimately.
indeed, we do. Indeed. Let's see here. What else has been on my plate here? I just finished the Penny Arcade Adventures on the Rain Slick Precipice of Darkness, numero 4, which is the final chapter in the game. The first two was created by Hothead Games, the same people that were behind. Oh my gosh, I just blanked out. Death's Bank. Um,
Mhm.
Penny Arcade decided to stop the series with them so that they could focus on Death's Bank. And then, because of popular demand, they ended up doing number 3 and number 4 with the game with a company called Z-Boyd, and Z-Boyd specializes in like 8-bit, 16-bit style games. So it basically had like the story and some of the mechanics were the same, but it gave you that old like Final Fantasy feel to it. Um, but I just finished the fourth game. It's good. If you like the series, then you need to get this. If you're a supporter of Penny Arcade, you need to get this. I know that there's been like one hell of a shitstorm that's been happening with one of the creators of Penny Arcade right now because of some of the comments that he made about a description for a panel that's going to be um, shown at PAX Australia, and he, you know, Penny Arcade people are a bunch of smartasses. If you try to push them, they're going to give you a smartass response. And he gave a response that basically put him in hot water. Let's just put it that way. So,
Really, Penny Arcade and Hot Waters news at 11.
yeah,
Shocking
exactly.
again.
Exactly. Um, I know we're currently recording, but Zealeus, can you check your internet connection? I'm just
What
curious.
about it?
You're like lagging like a mofo.
I'm what?
You're lagging like a mofo.
Really? I thought you were when we first started. I was blaming it on you.
No, I've got full power. Your camera is like all going wacky. You're about like on a 2 second delay of mouth movement and audio.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh. I'm not sure why, good sir.
weird.
Let
Hey,
me try one thing here. If
okay.
this works.
Well, while you're testing whatever you're doing, um, let me tell you that
Is that any better?
hold on a second. I gotta switch back to your picture. All right, talk.
What? You took me off? What?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, much better.
Oh, okay. Okay, so what it is I downloaded a program called XWidgets
Uh huh.
because I have like my two monitors.
Uh
And
huh.
basically, like I customized one of my desktops with like CPU, calendar, weather, all these like different little apps.
Uh huh.
And like on my end, like my computer's just fine, absolutely no issues playing like games, whatever.
Uh
But I
huh.
guess for some reason that's messing with video.
Weird.
That's kind of annoying
Very
because
weird.
like my CPU and RAM, nothing's being taxed at all right now, even when I was running XWidgets. So
Weird.
whatever,
All
I
right.
don't know.
Well, okay. Well, now back to your regularly. Oh my God.
Regularly scheduled program.
Thank you.
Glad to help.
Perhaps I've been drinking too much this evening. Anyways, so um, let's talk games here. Um, it
So I
is
started playing a new game.
okay. Tell me about it.
Uh, Neverwinter 2. Not
Uh-huh.
wait, wow, not Neverwinter 2. Jeez. Um, okay, here this happens. You ever like thinking about something in your brain for the last like 10 minutes,
Yep.
and then you actually try to give the name, and have a total mind blank on it.
Yep.
The Witcher 2.
The Witcher 2. Okay.
So I started playing it. Have you played The Witcher before?
No, I've not.
Pretty complicated game as far as like combat and skills and all that stuff goes.
Hmm.
A lot of different things to remember. The thing that annoys me, there's two things that annoy me about the game so far. So you can go like either you basically melee path, the science path, which is magic, or I guess you can go the alchemy path, which you get superpowers then, which I will never do. But the only thing is, the signs are 6 different signs, and each of the signs do something different. Like they're pretty cool, all of them. Like one can stun your opponent. One will actually turn your opponent against like his other people, so basically mind control zone.
Hmm.
So there's like these 6 different ones. The problem is the names have nothing to do with what they actually do. They're all like like random magical names, but like there's no description. Like if you hover over it, you don't know what they actually do. So like
Oh.
it's kind of this like annoying like trial and error to figure out, okay, what does this do? And then like you have to like keep that in memory. Oh shoot, I get to a battle and need to pull up that skill that does the pushback, but I don't remember which one of these 6 that's actually called. So that's kind of annoying because you're trying to figure that out as you play. The other annoying thing is, and maybe there's a way I just haven't figured it out, is remapping the keyboard. Because like a lot of it can do like a lot of different hotkey stuff because each of those like 6 skills can be mapped to a different key. And well, I have one of the, okay, never mind, it's too tight to my monitor, but I have a Naga mouse, so it has like the little 12 thumb things.
Hmm.
For games like this, where you have a lot of different keybinds. And right now, like it automatically binds like those signs to basically 1 through 6. But you also have pocket items, so you can throw like bombs and traps and then get bound to other keys. I'm like, it's really annoying to me to have it like that. Like, I want to bind it to my other keys, damn you. And I haven't figured out a way to do that. But overall, it's a pretty cool game. We'll see how it goes.
Cool.
I've only played it definitely has a pretty lengthy tutorial. It starts off with the first one left, and it's kind of like if you played Mass Effect 3 on the PS3, where you kind of the first, I don't know how long it was for Mass Effect 3, But in this game, probably about the first 2 hours is kind of like a playthrough tutorial where you kind of see what happened at the end of which one.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of got through that a little bit of the main gameplay itself. I'm now in town with like a billion different quests to do.
Gotcha.
So far, interesting game. We'll see what happens. I'm afraid it's one of those games when I get back from Georgia, I'm going to forget how to play the entire damn game.
Dude, I've run into that issue with the game that I've been playing
Yep.
recently, and that's the Syndicate for the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost 100% sure it's a reboot of an older game.
Which reminds me, next week I should be not here,
Yes,
but there.
we'll have a different location for our hangout.
It'll be glorious.
Indeed.
What, we're not going to have like building supplies behind you?
Huh?
Looks like a screwdriver and a yellow bucket.
No, okay, so that's two witch cups stacked on each other, and that screwdriver is actually the pin to my drawing tablet.
Hmm.
And then over my other shoulder is a bronzed eagle.
I've been wondering. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so the game I've been playing is a game called The Syndicate. Basically, you are a special agent, and I think the entire world. There's no such thing as governments anymore. It's basically these like corporation syndicates that run
Kinda
the
like
world.
that.
Huh?
Nothing.
Uh, and and so you're basically one of their top like assassin, errand boys, whatever. And you try to take out opposing assassins, and when you do, you can remove their like biotic chip that's implanted in them, and then gain special abilities off of it, which is kind of interesting. But there's like something wrong with the game.
Something like, are you talking like buggy or just like the actual quality of the game?
I think it's the mechanics. I think there's certain mechanics that just don't click in the game.
Hmm. What console is it on?
I want to say I know it's at least on the PlayStation 3, but I would not be surprised if it's on multiple platforms.
What were you playing it on?
PlayStation 3. So I'm playing that game. Of course, I've got Darksiders 2 for the Xbox 360 still sitting in the GameFly package.
Is that the game that's like next to impossible? Or am I thinking of a different game?
No. You're thinking of Dark Souls.
Ah, yes.
That I'm not even going to try to play. I played Demon Souls, which was the first of the series, and I wanted to cry myself to sleep. The thing is, it's interesting. This is a very unique game in the fact that you can't blame the game for your deaths or for dumb shit. If your character dies or takes a lot of damage or does a bunch of dumb shit, it's because you made them do it.
But isn't it also like really hard?
Oh, absolutely. So it comes down to really mastering the game in order to really play the game. So it takes a shit ton of devotion, which I'm going to be totally honest with you, I don't have that time to do.
Oh, unfortunate, yo.
I don't. Which reminds me, I actually played Guild Wars 2 last night.
What, dude? No way.
Yeah.
How did it feel to step back into I don't remember what the land is called.
I don't know what the land is called either.
Landra or something?
Sure, we'll go with that.
I could be thinking of a different MMO. Who knows?
I killed.
No, actually, I'm thinking of Rift.
I killed a bunch of guys, did a couple quests, broke my armor and had to get it repaired, and called it a night.
You know, thinking about though, here's one of the cool things about Rift. I mean, not Rift. Sorry, about Guild Wars 2. Is if you think about it, a lot of MMOs. Take even for instance, I was playing Neverwinter, right?
Yep.
I'm level 46 now, and there's still skills I haven't unlocked. So it's still like those overpowers I'm kind of waiting for like a little bit advanced to my playstyle. Guild Wars 2, you can unlock all your skills in like 10 minutes if you really want to. You just go grab all those different weapons, hit somebody a few times, boom, they're unlocked. And to me, that's
sort of.
Okay,
I mean, there are a couple of skills that come unlocked with with certain levels. But
Oh, you're right. You do have the utility skills. Yes, that is a
right,
good point.
but the weapon skills, I mean, basically just grab one of every single weapon that your class can use,
Mhm.
and then just go to town, beating the shit out of the deers and the boars. Basically, what you're doing if you were stuck in that game of World of Warcraft that Cartman and
Oh yeah.
Kenny and all those guys were, where they were reduced to just hunting boar to level up so they could take out the master killer.
But to me, that
Um,
is one of the cool things about Guild Wars 2, is how
yeah,
quickly you kind of get access to most of your abilities.
absolutely. What they want to get it out of the way so that you can enjoy the game instead of grinding in the same area to do a level unlock for a skill that 9 out of 10 times you probably don't even want, but you got to unlock that once you can unlock the next one.
Yeah.
So
Good game. Yeah, I don't know. Next expansion, I'll pick it up again. I think that's my kind of gameplay where I'm at now. Since we all know they'll come out with expansion at some point.
oh, of course. Um, I the only reason why I played it, it's actually ironic. The only times I really play Guild Wars 2 is
Mhm.
when I'm editing a video, because I just edit it in the background. I just let it like render and compress, and then I'm like, well, shit, I gotta do something while it's going because I want to. As soon as the video's done, I want to upload it. But of course, usually that goes past my bedtime, so I don't actually upload it till the next day. But it's the thought that counts. So I ended up, gaming a little bit, and then seeing that the game is actually slowing down the render, but I don't try. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't factor that in. I don't care because 9 out of 10 times the video is not going to be time sensitive. So speaking of which, I need to watch one of the videos that I did to give some feedback on it. For one of the Georgia Game Developer Association meetups that I did this month. The presenter, the one that I basically said I can't post the video until
Oh yeah.
August, I think. He wants some feedback about it, so I'm going to watch that and give him the 411, as it were. Oh my gosh.
You gonna make it there, yeah?
No, I know that there's a certain individual is probably watching this video stream, and now he's starting to jump all over all to confusion, adding his comments. That's all.
Do I
You
know
might
this person?
you might know him as a Magmus.
Really, Mr. Sims.
Yes.
I haven't heard that name in a long time. Speaking of,
Yeah.
he's supposed to be coming to Minnesota sometime this season, I think. That's
No,
what I hear at least.
I don't know. Anyways, okay, so playing Guild Wars 2. Let me go to my board here, cheat a little. Playing Scurvy Scallywags for the iOS or Apple device. I have to tell you, I was hardcore with this game right off the bat, but my interest in the game is starting to wane simply because, like, I don't feel like there's any progression going on, and I just feel like I'm basically treading water at this point, and it's getting kind of ridiculous. And I know I've spent money on the game, so I want to keep going, like real money on the game. So I kind of want to keep going, but at the same time, I'm starting to get pissed
Hmm.
because
Sounds like an
basically,
MMO.
yeah, that's true. I don't know. There was like a certain pace, you hit these islands and you're trying to regain these sea shanties, these little verses or whatever. And once you collect, I think it's like 16, you beat the game. And so the first couple of islands, like boom, shanty, boom, shanty, boom, shanty. And then the next like 13 islands,
They just want you to play more, give more money.
I don't understand it. It's like, by the way, they have a bunch of like collect quests in there. And it just like rinse and repeat stuff. It's like, oh, you had a great battle there. You need to collect 10 bandages to heal yourself. Okay. Oh
Ah,
no, this person lost their notebook again. Can you go find it? Okay.
sure.
So, anyways, I've got like the best. I've unlocked like the best pirate ship that you can build because you can also get supplies and then you build a pirate ship to give you bonuses in combat.
Who doesn't want a good pirate ship?
Indeed.
Speaking of, how
Yes, sir.
far in Warehouse 13 are you?
Okay,
Oh,
so
that's disappointing. That's a disappointing sigh.
here's the deal. We were without cable for like a week,
Oh yeah,
and then once we got it back, we really haven't gotten back into that pace of watching
yeah.
TV. So we've dropped like every single series, and now we're
No.
trying to pick it back up. Warehouse 13 is we're definitely watching that now. We're trying to watch some True Blood. Um, I think Defiance is basically completely off of Julie's radar now. So if I want to continue with Defiance, I'll have to watch on my own. Uh,
The last two episodes have actually been pretty dang good.
I need to remember the rest of the episodes because I can't remember them now. I mean, TV shows that we're watching because I feel like I'm missing a big one, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Anyways,
Indeed.
yes, so I'm behind on Warehouse 13. But
It's
then
okay.
again, that's like a perpetual thing. I'm always behind on Warehouse 13.
I know, yo. It took you years for me to finally watch it. It was that weird, quirky show. I'm like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it too.
Yep, it's good stuff, man.
It's,
It's good stuff. Speaking of stuff that I have been watching, though, during the day, I have, because of my change of job, during lunchtime, I get one episode of anime in every single day. So I have just completed Black Lagoon, which is kind of like Cowboy Bebop, but they never leave the planet. I mean, they're a delivery team, and they come up with against all kinds of like opposition and stuff, but they never really leave. Hell, they don't even leave the city the majority of the time. But interesting. But then like the second half of the series was just like one place, one job, da 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 da, and half the characters were gone for like the entire thing. It was weird. I didn't like it. Didn't like it.
uh,
Huh?
I'm also watching, what is it, the last season of Burn Notice right now.
Uh,
It
I
should
was.
actually be recording shortly, the next episode.
Bonus.
That's a good show.
I jump in and out. I just watch like a random episode here and there.
It's been over the top for a long time.
Well, yeah, but
It got to a point like, really? Again?
yeah,
It's a fun show, but
right.
it's kind of funny because they're like these super uber spies, and yet like the overall things that they do, like in like the big story arc, you're like, really? Are you serious? And it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, if you guys were as good as super spies as you would have toppled like all the governments in the world by now, according to what they've done in the rest of the show.
I think they need to team up with Bartowski Industries.
Well, the other show that I've been watching that they could team up would be the Alias.
Yeah.
It's actually probably closer to that than Chuck.
Boo.
Just in terms of style. Now, I still Chuck is my favorite. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
Just in terms of like style, weird shadow government stuff going on, and CIA crazy infiltration. Although I guess most of that happened in Chuck, of course.
I mean, come on, Fulcrum.
But Chuck was like fun. You know what I mean? Like the other two shows, they're all like, "Woo, we are serious. End of the world is coming." Whereas Chuck was like, "Hey, guess what, guys? The end of the world's coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good times."
Okay.
I'm gonna go rewatch that show now.
I love Chuck. Okay. Games. I must think about games. They're in here somewhere.
I almost feel like I'm in like a holding pattern until like the new console comes out.
True. That is definitely.
My game this past week has been work, trying to get everything ready before I take off for the ATL because we're doing some crazy stuff at work, so I need to get that all squared away so I don't get a call Tuesday morning. John, my internet doesn't work. I'll be like, it's 4th of July week. I don't care. Go home.
Oh, didn't you know the internet companies take that week off? So no one has internet.
Exact. Oh, I like that one. I'll try that line.
Oh, they'll believe anything you tell them.
Some days, some days. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It really is. We're really in a holding pattern right now. I mean, the game I'm most interested in is Destiny, and that's not coming out until 2014.
Well,
And
even if you're a publisher, say maybe you're almost ready for a game, and then all of a sudden you got the PS4 and Xbox One coming out. It's like, well, maybe we want to wait another 6 months and just go ahead and get it on all four consoles instead of just two, because you're talking about potential lost sales.
right,
And I definitely think from here on out, you're going to see, you're already talking about games that we know are coming out that are already being advertised for the two new consoles. So it's kind of like, well, I guess we'll just see what comes out from the new consoles.
true, true. I'll be very interested to see what changes in policies about these consoles and whatnot. I know
Yeah.
that I mean, Microsoft's already bent on the used game policy, and I would not be surprised if you're going to see some more subtle changes from both Sony and Microsoft going forward until the actual release. And hell, maybe even a year after the release, you're going to see some subtle changes to try to get that perfect niche in the marketplace. I mean, you know,
I mean, they've shown before in the past that they'll change things. You had Microsoft who added on the Kinect. You had
yep,
Sony who took away backwards compatibility. And didn't they also one time have dual boot where you could actually boot into a Linux operating system on the console?
yes. Well,
But that was on like the original 20 games.
let's see here.
That was the original system now.
Right,
That was
okay.
the one that you can.
The original
It was other
PlayStation.
OS.
All right, the original PlayStation 3 system had backwards compatibility. Other OS had no dual shock controls, and their online membership was completely free. They lost the other OS. They lost backwards compatibility. They they gained Rumble in their controllers, and
Woo!
now, I mean, I'm not saying that you have to pay for an online service. Not like Microsoft where you have to pay to play online,
Yeah,
but the emphasis is the real online service that you want with Sony is one you have to pay for.
I hear you.
So
Well, I mean, you can play the Xbox without paying for the Xbox Gold also. If you're trying to do anything online, it's
right,
very.
right, absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah. Um, Speaking of consoles, I do have an Ouya. I've
Oh
had it for
my
a while.
gosh.
I plugged it in when I first got it, and this was like way before us. Sorry, hold on. Let me back up. For those who are watching and don't know what an Ouya is, Ouya OUYA is a Android gaming device console. It's literally like this big. I mean, it's just itty bitty. Which of course I've got monster hands, so it's probably making it look a shit ton bigger than it is. Um, but it's a very small device, very compact. It's selling for uh, $99. Um, it's just plug it in with HDMI. You got two. Well, I've got two of their controllers. I've heard a rumor that you can actually map the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 controller to
Ooh.
the system, but don't quote me on that because I can't find that information anywhere. Um, but so there apparently are a ton of games out there that you could play on the Ouya. I was a Kickstarter backer for the system, so I got it way in advance, and there really wasn't all that much to it when I plugged it in. But that was before the retail release, which I believe was yesterday or Wednesday or something like that. So, or Tuesday, it was this week. Um, so I'm very tempted to plug it back in and see if there is any easily recognizable difference between when I turn it on and now.
So have
Yeah.
you actually turned it on and tried it?
Yes, when I first got it, I found one game or two games that I played. One was a boxing game that was actually demoed at the IGDA Atlanta meetup. that happened. I don't even remember when it happened, but all the Ouya guys were traveling around from organization to organization, and they were showing off their goods. So I got to play like a boxing game.
Right on.
It was really cool. I mean, very well done. Some of the games, so the boxing game, and there was another game that looked pretty dang solid, but then the rest of the games were like crap. But now I've heard that there's a bunch of new other games out there. One, of course, the big one, or one of the big ones, is Final Fantasy III. That's right. Square Enix is on board with Ouya.
Which reminds me, they're also redoing Final Fantasy X. Or reskinning it, I should say.
What the hell?
What?
Why did my dad just text me, "This is getting wild"?
I'm assuming he's talking about the draft and the crazy draft picks that these teams are making.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so I'm going to turn on the Ouya soon, hopefully sooner than later, and probably check out. Actually, it's probably going to be this weekend when I finally plug that bad boy back in. I've just been, I have been short on free time this entire week. I started a new job. For those of you who don't know,
Good times.
indeed, it's been a very interesting transition into this new job. So I've been trying to find the pace that will allow me to utilize my skills for this job, but also do Alter Fusion. You may have noticed this today that I did a video last night, and I hope to do more in the future to give you kind of an update. But I basically work at this desk all day now. So Um, so, there's going to be a time where I need to get up and do some other stuff.
Have you ever
So,
been getting a standing working desk?
do what?
Getting a standing desk.
Oh, fuck no. Mm-mm.
Apparently, it's very popular for people who work from home.
Oh my God, I couldn't stand. No, I need to be sitting. I can't. Like when I go up to my whiteboard, I have to have the idea already in my brain. Because if I'm just standing up the whiteboard, nothing's coming out.
Hmm.
Nothing. I got to be sitting to think and then write shit on the whiteboard. Okay, so I made a promise last night, and I want to be good on it. And I know that I've made this promise a shit ton of times, but there is a comic coming back. The one that I showed off a bit ago with, I believe, Jesse and Zealeus, that one's not coming.
Oh, that's one seemed pretty cool.
I know. I'd rather try to write that as a story
Okay.
than do a comic. So you're probably going to see Hawk and Steve return.
I'm a big fan of them.
So just be on the lookout for them. I think really when I find my rhythm with the job that I'm now doing, I think that you'll see a lot more variety in Alter Fusion. It's not that I'm going to be able to do it during the day, but I'll be able to compartmentalize.
Compartmentalize?
Yeah. See, my brain is completely gone. Anyways,
It's gone to your facial hair.
all my brain went out to my facial hair.
Every time you cut it, you lose just a little bit more.
Yeah. Yes. I have to make sure that this is in top condition for all the conventions I'm going to be doing in July.
I thought you were going to say ladies, and I was just going to say no.
Okay. First of all, I got lucky as hell to get married to that one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never a ladies fan to begin with, so that's not do anything.
That was not what that was for.
Anyways, okay, so shit, I was gonna say something. No, I've totally blanked out. Okay, a question for you, Zealeus. Since we've got about 20 minutes, I figured let's fill it with an interesting question for you. In your opinion, what is it harder to do? Is it harder, do you think, is it harder for developers and publishers to create a game that is true to the source material from um, from books or from movie slash TV?
First off, I have to think of like any games I've actually played that like try to be really true to books or movies. Because a lot of those games, like the Batman Arkham Asylum or Arkham Horror, whatever they're calling it, and Amazing Spider-Man, or a lot of those have been movies. I haven't really played many of those adaptations. Like I'm trying to think, what are even like well-known book to video game adaptations?
See, to be honest with you, I don't think they're really. I think that they're afraid to try to do that.
I think it's kind of the same thing, when you go from like one of the reasons I mean going from a book to a movie is so hard because there's a lot of that kind of personal and character development that you just can't get in the movies. It's just an entirely different medium for for conveying that information.
Absolutely.
Either one's better, it's just totally different. It's
Right.
the same thing, you think of even let's say like an action, like I could see something maybe like a Legend of Huma working,
I'd
something
play
like
that.
that. Yeah, but think about it though. Even though a really big trend right now, for instance, in like RPGs, is character dialogue where you make those choices, right?
Hmm.
Well, if you have a book translation, you can't really have dialogue choices anymore. Because if you have the choices, that's not really true to the book because you can make a choice that didn't actually happen in the book. Unless you're using Choose Your Own Adventures movies based off the Choose Your Own Adventure books, I guess. I don't know.
That
So
would
I
be
guess
kind of cool, though.
it would be. Well, Heavy Rain.
Oh,
That's as close to a Choose Your Own Adventure as there is.
yeah.
But anyways, back to the point. Is you have these movies, I guess you could have, very linear dialogue, but how interesting would that be? One of the joys, like one of the joys of a book is just sitting back and like it's my own imagination that's making that book come alive. Versus a movie, versus a video game that kind of shows it to you. It's just totally different. Um, and yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a couple things going against trying to create a video game based on a book. One is the fact that we now live in a gaming society who want the ability to stray from the story. Um, there are two computer games, old computer games, but there are two computer games that I can think of off the top of my head that use the source material, and if you were good enough, you were able to complete the game exactly how the book had it. The first one, of course, is the Black Cauldron. It was that is Lloyd Alexander, the author, and the company that actually developed it was Sierra. Man, that was a good game. Oh, I love that game. Anyways, um, uh, and the other game is The Hobbit.
Hmm.
Um, I never played The Hobbit, but I heard that it was like very true to the material. But I think with technology and the ability to have a more immersive world where you now have the opportunity to see all of Mordor or all of Priam or Prydain, excuse me.
Nice
Priam is
try.
something different. Priam is my own creation, which one day
But
I'll go back.
even think of like a movie, for instance, like The Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yep.
Pretty action packed,
Mhm.
lots of action, fighting. When you think about it, if you try to take those battle sequences then to a video game, you're talking in a movie, it seems like a lot. But if you take that and try to put it into a video game, if you're going straight source from the video game from the movie to the video game, oh, yeah, 3 hour video game, hooray! So like,
Yep.
naturally, the publishers they have to add in extra content into the video game that goes beyond the scope of the book or movie to actually fill it out to be that 10+ hour video game.
See, I think there's a very interesting situation that in my brain this is what's going on. Um, there is the possibility to stay completely true to the source, but it would have to be a bite-sized game, and no one's going to pay. that shit ton amount of money that's required to get the license to do it because they're never going to make their money back.
Yeah, and well, and you also have a video game release based off of a movie. You're expecting a AAA title. You know,
Right,
you're not
absolutely.
expecting an indie C class 8-bit release.
Well, no,
You want it
even
all.
well, it could still be, like a huge developer, whatever. But if it's a bite size, you're not going to get that $60 per game. You're going to get more like a $15 per game, and the licensing fee alone. I mean, you would have to, you'd have to quadruple your sales versus the $60 Captain America craptacular video game.
Well, okay, I know we brought this video game up many times already, but the one game that I can think of that truly is, if there was a movie like it that could actually work, would be Heavy Rain. Just in terms of like, it really is an immersive story, and that almost could have been like its own movie. And then it's like, oh hey, let's make this into an immersive movie where obviously there's a little bit choose your own adventure in it, because what happens. But at least the first part of it very much, I could definitely see that having been a movie that you're actually taking control of that main character.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So that's one of those games I could have actually really seen that. And also, if you think about the pace of video games, the pace of a video game, even like a good RPG with lots of storylines, take like a Mass Effect, you're still going to have, where does all your storylines take place on? Really comes down to the Normandy. That's where most of your conversations happen.
Right.
So you really want a movie where people talk in the Normandy, but when they're off the Normandy, they don't talk.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the idea, or even like the entrance, so, I mean, we all love the Mass Effect in the story, but to make a movie out of it, it obviously gets changed up just a little to make it a movie.
Well, they'd have to.
You'd have some weird love story going between the commander and, I don't know, Rex or something. Who knows?
No.
That'd probably be Garrus.
I would definitely.
Come on.
No. Actually, you know what would be really interesting? I would never do this because it would be just completely off the wall. We keep talking about Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain is a phenomenal game. I don't want to say it's transcended the game label, but it really is truly a unique experience where the gamer really actually 100% dictate how the story's going to go.
Absolutely.
But what if, and this is a huge what if, but let's say that you flipped it, okay? So all those different situations that present themselves in the game as you either fuck up or able to do it correctly. What if there was just like a shit ton of different versions of a movie like Heavy Rain out there where you could basically, I don't know how to describe this. It would be interesting because there would be like those people who want this movie because of these characters,
almost like alternative endings.
but like alternative stories. I mean, because really you have 5 characters, and it is possible to finish any time that those 5 characters are gone, they're gone. I mean, they are 100% gone. You lose a character at the beginning, you will never see him again. But if I'm playing the game and that guy survives that part and he gets all the way to the end, well, shit, he's got an entire storyline that you didn't even get to see. That would be nuts. I don't even know how the hell you would do that.
I think it should work. I think that should be our secret project in Ultimate Fusion.
To make okay, so we're gonna put it in this world. There's gonna be 6 different endings, which would be 5 individuals.
Yes.
But getting from point A to point B, there's about 15 different ways to do it. And we're going to make a video that follows every single one of those 15 ways.
I like it, yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
I don't think that'd work.
No. But it would be cool. I mean, it would be absolutely cool. It would be basically choose
your own adventure, but in the form of a movie.
Well, it would be like, it would kind of be like, you would go into Netflix or some other streaming service and go, okay, um, the theme of this is a murder mystery, um, and I want a um, the criminal got away ending, and I don't like that actor who's playing this guy or that actor or that actress. I just want those three, the other three in there, and okay, go. That'd be crazy. But then again, you know what? That's probably good. That's probably what movies are going to evolve into down the line when they basically take all the actors out of the equation. You just have a bunch of CG representations, and then you really could choose your own movie. I mean, hell, I would not be surprised. I mean, Heavy Rain did, and but that's because it's very impressive engine that's running the game. But I wouldn't be surprised, down the line where, well, I think for better or for worse, I think we're going to see two different games that are going to rise. One is going to be your bite-sized game. I mean, it ain't going away anytime soon. People need that little 5-10 minute break, and they're going to rely on a very well put together game in order to distract them for just that amount of time during their smoke break or during their
I call it the
mandatory.
bathroom.
Huh?
I call it a bathroom game.
Exactly, a bathroom game. And then I think, as much as it pains me to say this, I think that single player is going to be whittled away slowly but surely, and I think you're going to have a perpetually active, evolving online game that's just, or games, plural. Um,
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of them, look at even the big AAA titles in the consoles. They all have some kind of single player or multiplayer element to it. And
Absolutely.
yes, they still have this single player campaign, but they want you to do online. Even like Mass Effect 3. Yeah, you're fighting the big war against the Reapers, but in order to get like the full war readiness, you have to do stuff online.
Which I didn't, because I
Yeah,
have
I
no I
didn't
have no
either.
interest in it. To be honest
Same
with you,
here. But I think it's the same thing where a lot of these games, they are to make up, that $60 value, they still kind of skimp on the single player to try to make it up in terms of multiplayer,
right,
which makes sense because in multiplayer it's easier to sell microtransactions and DLC down the road.
right.
It's more of a captive audience. So I get why they're doing it, but I agree it kind of bites.
Well, the other thing is with an online environment, they can basically put an entire humongous world, and they can quickly fix problems, though problems become more prevalent because of the user base.
Mm-hmm.
But then because of the user base, once that problem's fixed, it's fixed for everybody. Where in a single player game, you don't constantly have this interaction with the game or whatever. Um, the one thing that I will say is The Last of Us actually has a multiplayer piece in it, and I had no interest in it.
Yep, it's very common.
It's just I don't know. I mean, I understand. I think the issue with me is the fact that I do not want to. When I play a video game, I want to escape. I am an escapist when it comes to video games. I want to lose my mind and basically assimilate into this character for X amount of time and to go on that adventure. It is so freaking difficult when you have a 12-year-old going, "You're a bitch, you're a dick, just take it up the ass," every 5 seconds.
Well,
So
go on.
so I think I've got a defense mechanism of not even wanting to try online simply because, with my luck, as soon as I jump online, it's going to happen again, and then I'm going to be pissed off and disgruntled, and that's not what I want out of video games.
Well, if I'm going to play a multiplayer video game, I'm going to make one that was built from the ground up for multiplayer,
Right.
like a Team Fortress 2 or a MMO. That's what they're made for, is multiplayer.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to be doing. So, yeah.
But I don't know if you have read this book or not. If you have not, I highly recommend it. It's called Ready Player One. Um, it's basically about it's like a futuristic society where everybody interacts in an online environment called the Oasis. You go to school in the Oasis. You don't go in person. Um, you basically buy all your stuff through the Oasis, and then it gets delivered to your physical door. There's games in there. There's like planets in there that you can go visit. If you've got enough money, you can buy your own planet and basically deck it out however you want to. A very interesting read.
Hmm.
And I would not be opposed to the Oasis existing. I also would not be opposed to the world based on the Dot Hack series existing either. Without the virus, of course. I'd rather not play the game and then end up in a permanent coma because I saw some corrupted data.
Speaking of, I did buy Soulless at the bookstore today,
Nice.
so I'll have to check that out, see how it is.
Very good. Very good. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoy it. It was a good read for me. I think I'm on book 6 now of the entire series.
Well, by the time I see you, I should have a decent chunk of it knocked out to be able to say a yay or nay.
There you go. There you go. There you go. So, uh, Zealeus is coming to town next week. So, do not be surprised if we do a little something different for the Google Hangout. Just gonna say it right here, right now.
Indeed, I approve of this message.
So crazy shit could go down. You never know. It could go down.
Crazy world, man.
Dude, I have an issue with my hands. I'm constantly like,
You
I don't
should do
know
the
what.
Egyptian
I am not doing the Egyptian. F that. I am not
or the
doing
Macarena, whichever.
that.
You're using your hands. Might as well use them for something useful.
I'd rather do the chicken dance. And no, I'm not going to do the chicken dance.
It's disappointing.
I know. It's very disappointing. But it's the truth. Um, it was really sad today. I actually uninstalled a bunch of the Steam games that I installed on my laptop but never played. Was it a laptop? No, I think it was my desktop.
That is unfortunate.
Well, some of the games that I had on there, it's not even compatible. I can't even play them on my computer. It's like, oh, sorry, your stuff, we don't recognize it because it's too new for this game, which is ancient.
Nice.
Or I get the wonderful, what game was I trying to play? Dude, I had like some terrible like art thing going where everything got like inverted colors. Everything is like green and pink, and I'm like, oh, this is no good.
Probably not very useful to play.
No, it was Space Quest.
Space Quest?
Yeah, man.
We make some memories there.
Get it old school. By the way, if you have if you, the listener, watcher, fan of Alta Confusion, have any children or are planning to have children in the future, raise them right. They need to know about video games, and they need to know about them responsibly. That does not mean put them in front of a TV and go, here, Junior, here's a controller. Actually, teach them how to play. Watch what they play. Be interested in what they play. And yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Charlie's weekly public service announcement.
Yep. Well, okay, kids, it is almost 9 o'clock, so unfortunately we've got to shut this Google chat down. But I will tell you this. It has been a pleasure, as always, to have Zealeus with us.
Someday we'll get Jesse back.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I don't know. He's disappeared. Well, he got a new house, so.
I guess I'll take up time, yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so thank you for tuning into the Alta Confusion Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and of course our prolific cover himself, Zealeus, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.